did I hear you're shopping for a car? Because I've been at it for ages. Ugh, such a time suck, right?
Not really. I bought it on Carvana. Super convenient.
Oh, then comes all the financing, research, am I right?
Well, you can, but I got pre-qualified for a Carvana auto loan in like 2 minutes.
Yeah, but then all the number crunching and terms, right?
Nope. I saw real numbers as I shopped, found my dream car, and got it in a couple of days.
Wait, like you already have it?
Yep.
Oh.
Go to Carvana.com to finance your car the convenient way.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Fiscally responsible, financial geniuses, monetary magicians. These are things people say about drivers who switch their car insurance to Progressive and save hundreds. Visit Progressive.com to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary, not available in all states or situations.
Hello and welcome to In All Honesty, the podcast where we get real about life and all the problems that come with it. I'm Michelle Elman and I'm a 5-board accredited life coach, public speaker, author of The Joy of Being Selfish and Am I Ugly, and my new book, The Selfish Romantic, coming out in January. I'm passionate about teaching people to communicate, heal the wounds of the past, feel your feelings, and ultimately giving you the tools to change your own life. This is the space where you get your personal development needs met, and we talk about all things growth, self-awareness, and communication with complexity and nuance. So if that sounds like your cup of tea, stick around because I think you're going to like it here. So what I want to talk about today is why you need to mind your own business, or put better, why you need to let other people learn their own lessons. A lot of the time when we learn something new, whether it's body positivity or boundaries, we get so excited and we can't believe we didn't know it earlier. So we want to share that with the people we love and make their lives better and improve their lives. What actually ends up happening though is you don't take the lessons in yourself. You don't apply it to your own life because you're so busy sharing this information that you don't take the time to embed that information and actually create the change. It's even in situations like I cut out someone from my life and all my friends stayed friends with that friend. How do I tell them that they're toxic, they're evil, they're awful, all of these things? You have to let people learn for themselves. Sometimes people only get the message by actually witnessing the bad behavior in front of them, and sometimes people have to mess up on their own to learn the hard way. The reason why it's so important to let people make decisions on their own is because who says you're right? Who says you know better than them? It's actually quite entitled and arrogant to think that you know better than someone. And if you've ever experienced this with a parent, because this happens a lot in a parent-child dynamic, you know how frustrating it is that your parent assumes that just because you made a different decision to what they would have made, that you automatically made a worse decision. Ultimately, the person living their life is the person with the most information at the time. The reason why this often happens in a parent-child relationship is because the parent assumes because they are older, they are wiser. And unfortunately, wisdom is not always correlated with age. A different decision doesn't mean a worse decision. And the best thing you can do is respect that the other person has enough information and is capable enough to make their own decisions in their own life. I always think this when it comes to my Q&As. I get so many questions every week. So if your question actually got picked on 1 week and you got a chance to ask a life coach a question directly, why is your question about someone else's life? Surely you have a problem in your own life, and therefore, what does it actually tell me about the fact that you're asking about a friend's life? Well, it tells me you're avoiding something in your own life. This is why I say mind your own business, because a lot of the time when you see people who are so involved in other people's lives, other people's decisions, yes, it could come from a compassionate, empathetic place, but a lot of the time, empathy becomes an excuse for being nosy and having really bad boundaries around what is to do with you and what is none of your business. What it is telling me is that you're avoiding the problems in your own life, and I genuinely believe that the world would be a better place if you focused on your own problems and stopped giving unsolicited opinions about other people. You know how annoying unsolicited opinions are, so don't be a perpetrator of that. If you're on a receiving end of an unsolicited opinion, all you have to say is, "Thank you so much for your opinion. I actually didn't ask, and it would be great if you could keep your opinions to yourself. And I'm going to make my own decision. And if I want to ask for your help, I will ask for it. In the meantime, could you support me?" And in the situation where someone's repeating their opinion over and over again, you can say, you've already told me your opinion once. I don't need to hear it again. I'm going to make the decision that I know will make me happy. And if that's the wrong decision, so be it. But that is my choice and I need you to respect it. So what if it's a situation where you think your friend is in danger or in harm's way, and how do you actually say it in a caring, loving way that isn't minding someone else's business? Well, all you have to do is ask if your opinion is wanted. This is something I normalized within my friendship group. Before I gave an opinion, because I was very opinionated and I threw them unsolicited all over the place, I would say, can I give you my opinion on this? That gives them a chance to say yes or no. And a lot of the time, I had a friend saying, no, I'm really enjoying this relationship right now. I already know what you're going to say and I don't want to hear it right now. And that's okay. I went, okay, all good. And when you're ready for it, let me know. If they say yes, they do want to hear it, then say it once. And then also tell them whatever they do, you will still support them. And then leave it as that. Repeating your opinion over and over again is not going to help them. In the same way that I mentioned learning about boundaries or learning about body positivity, they have to go at their own pace. Usually, if you start learning about something like body positivity or boundaries, you had a tipping point, a low moment, a light bulb moment that made you make that decision to pick up a book on boundaries or to actually work on your body confidence.
Let's talk about something that's not always top of mind, but still really important: life insurance. Why? Because it offers financial protection for your loved ones and can help them pay for things like a mortgage, credit card debt. It can even help fund an education. And guess what? Life insurance is probably a lot more affordable than you think. In fact, most people think life insurance is 3 times more expensive than it is. So with State Farm Life Insurance, you can protect your loved ones without breaking the bank. Not sure where to start? State Farm has over 19,000 local agents that can help you choose an option to fit your needs and budget. Get started today and contact a State Farm agent or go to statefarm.com.
Hey, I'm Ryan Reynolds. Recently, I asked Mint Mobile's legal team if big wireless companies are allowed to raise prices due to inflation. They said yes. And then when I asked if raising prices technically violates those onerous 2-year contracts, they said, what the f*** are you talking about, you insane Hollywood ass f- So to recap, we're cutting the price of Mint Unlimited from $30 a month to just $15 a month. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 up front for 3 months plus taxes and fees. Promo rate for new customers for limited time. Unlimited more than 40 gigabytes per month. Slows full terms at mintmobile.com.
They say opposites attract. That's why the Sleep Number Smart Bed is the best bed for couples. You like a bed that feels firm, but they want soft? Sleep Number does that. You want to sleep cooler while they like to feel warm? Sleep Number does that too. J.D. Power ranks Sleep Number number 1 in customer satisfaction with mattresses purchased in-store. And now, during Sleep Number's biggest sale of the year, save 50% on the Sleep Number Limited Edition Smart Bed, plus special financing for a limited time. For J.D. Power 2023 award information, visit jdpower.com/awards. Only at a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com. See store for details.
Without that emotional resonance, that moment which really triggered all of your emotions to work towards this change in your life, you aren't going to make the change. If you've ever been in therapy or personal development of any kind, you'll know how hard it is to change yourself. So it'd be foolish to even consider that you could change someone else, especially when they don't want to change. If your friend wants to go on a diet and all you want to do is shove body positivity in their face and shove it down their throat, that's not going to do anything apart from isolate them to you. Because if a diet does go wrong, they're not going to come to you because they don't feel supported, they feel judged. Yes, absolutely, it's because you're passionate, you're coming from a good place, but ultimately we have to remember that it's not about the intention behind something, but the impact behind something. And a lot of the time, whether you're ranting about diet culture or boundaries or a toxic ex, it just makes someone isolate further. And yes, it can be really frustrating. So let's say your friend is getting back with their ex over and over again. It's really boring, and listening to them break up all the time is really boring, and it's really hard to keep all your opinions in because you've already said your opinion once, so you can't say it again. Well, what you can do is still protect yourself. You're allowed to look after yourself, and so you set a boundary. You say, hey, look, I've already told you my opinion on this. My opinion has not changed. I don't want to keep repeating my opinion, and therefore I think we better stop talking about this. I understand you've made a different decision to what I would have chosen, and that's okay. I respect that, and I'll support you if you decide to ever change your mind. However, for right now, this conversation isn't productive, and I'm actually starting to feel like I'm endorsing this behavior and enabling you by pretending like having this conversation is creating any resolution whatsoever. So I love you, I support you, and if you want to talk about your relationship with your ex, go and talk to someone else, and I'll be here for you in every other area of your life. When you let people learn from their own mistakes, it doesn't mean you have to enable the mistakes or make it okay. When you let people learn from their own lessons, it doesn't mean you have to listen to the lesson over and over again until they get the message. And I think if you're honest, and I can be too, everyone makes the same mistakes over and over again. I'm a life coach and I make the same mistakes over and over again. Sometimes you have to mess up more than once to learn the lesson. I've had situations where I've gone in over and over again expecting a different result, even though I'm not willing to do anything different. And sometimes you just need to have your heart hurt a little bit more so you don't repeat that action again. That's how people learn. And I think that's why also from a parenting perspective, it's really important to let your kids make those mistakes. Yes, you might think you know wiser, you might think you know better, and you might want to save them from hurt. But those negative emotions that arise out of making mistakes, sometimes you need them in a greater quantity to actually emotionally resonate enough so that you remember it next time to make a different decision. And yes, you can learn from other people's lessons and other people's mistakes. A lot of that has been my career, sharing my mistakes, sharing my lessons, and hoping you can learn from it without going through the pain. But sometimes we have to admit that pain is the catalyst for change. When you're a friend, when you're a parent, a lover, or a spouse, or whatever, who supports that person's decisions, even if you think it's the wrong one, then that person can feel safe to return to you and go, so you're right, and not have to fear that you're going to say, I told you so, or that they're going to get a tongue lashing about how they messed up in a huge way. You need to let people fail. Letting people fail is a great learning curve. It gives them feedback to make better decisions in the future. And yes, some bad decisions can have disastrous outcomes, but we can't preempt every single bad instance in our own life. And if you live life in that way, you end up living quite a sheltered life because you're always avoiding bad emotions. And as a parent especially, you're not actually giving your child the tools that they need in life if you're always pre-protecting them rather than letting them fail, letting them make the mistakes, and knowing that you're going to be there no matter what, but also that your child is going to be okay no matter what, because a big part of that is resilience. And even looking back at my life now, it's very rare I actually call something a mistake, because if I look at that mistake not happening, that would change the trajectory of my entire life. And so I'm really thankful for those moments where I failed, because a lot of the time they actually pointed me in a better direction, and I couldn't have done that or learnt that without that failing in life. When we spend so long caring about other people's lives, we don't put that time and energy into our own life. And actually, the reason why I think it's a pet peeve of mine is because when you're putting a question in my question box about someone else, what it also tells me is that you're not worth the help. You're not worth the time. You weren't worth someone assisting you with your own life, and that you think their problems are bigger than your own, which can sometimes be used in a comparison way to make yourself feel better, or in a diminishing way where you don't think your problems are worth enough to seek help or to be given assistance. A bit of a ranty one from me, and if you think I'm talking quickly, I am, because there's a heat wave right now and I can't put a fan on when we are recording because it's too noisy, so I'm currently melting and sweltering in the heat. Thank you so much for listening, and if you enjoyed this episode, it would mean the world if you could leave a review wherever you're listening to this and share it on social media and tag me in it so I can share it too. Come find me at Michelle L. Ellman on Twitter, Instagram and TikTok. We do fun things on there like Q&A Mondays, and on Fridays we celebrate your boundary wins. There's a whole community of people who want to grow and heal as well, and we're waiting to welcome you whenever you're ready. In the meantime, make sure to feel your feelings, set some boundaries, communicate in the way you want to be communicated with, ask for what you need, and I know sometimes you forget, but someone loves you, and I will speak to you next week.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Fiscally responsible, financial geniuses, monetary magicians. These are things people say about drivers who switch their car insurance to Progressive and save hundreds. Visit Progressive.com to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary, not available in all states or situations.
Even when we're on a budget, we still deserve nice things. Quince is a place to scoop up stunning high-end goods for 50 to 80% less than similar brands. They have buttery soft cashmere sweaters starting at $50, luxurious Italian leather bags, and so much more. Plus, Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing. Get the high-end goods you'll love without the high price tag with Quince. Go to quince.com/style for free shipping and 365-day returns.